Hello, boys and girls. I hope you're doing well. It's good to hear from you, kindergarten. So, today we're going to start something new, and in front of you, you can see some examples of what we'll be looking at. We're going to do a piece of line artwork that's inspired by the artist Kim McKennell. Now, his artwork is obviously based off of really bold, bright, vibrant lines and patterns. So, first, what we're going to talk about is we're going to look at some different shapes and lines and how to actually create a pattern. Now, a lot of you are already thinking, all right, Miss Fry, we know shapes, we know how to draw shapes, which is perfect. So, this will be a great review for you. So, if you'd like to, you can draw along with me. You can grab a piece of paper and maybe just draw out a few different shapes that you know. So, for example, I'm drawing a square, triangle, circle, and a rectangle just to kind of practice, just to get warmed up a little bit. All right, so that's the easiest part of this drawing. Next, we're going to go ahead and look at different kinds of lines. Now, I know that you're already thinking that you know a bunch of different kinds of lines, which is perfect, but we have straight lines, we have squiggly lines, so ones that kind of curve up and go down and curve up and curve down and curve up and curve down and kind of look like waves on an ocean. And then we have more of a zigzag line, so ones that go straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, and they look more like mountaintops. And we're going to be using those kinds of lines for our drawing today. All right, so we looked at shapes and lines, and if you need to go back, please definitely go back. Let's go ahead and take a look at a pattern. Now, a pattern is anything that repeats itself over and over again. So, for example, maybe I'll do a pattern based off lines, and I'll do one straight line, one squiggly line, one straight line, one squiggly line, one straight line, and one squiggly line. So, just repeating that over and over and over again. Now, patterns can also occur inside of one another as well. So, for example, doing a square with another square inside of it, with another square inside of that. And lastly, you can also just do patterns based on shapes as well. So, for example, I have my square, triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle, just repeating over and over again. So, for our drawing today, we're just going to do something that's basically just a bunch of repeating patterns over and over again with really bright, bold, vivid colors as well. So I'm going to take one thick marker. You might have Crayola markers at home, which is perfect. And I'm just going to start from the top of my paper and work my way all the way down. And I'm going to create a few lines. So I'm probably going to make about 4 lines, 4 different kinds. I wouldn't do 100 lines, or I wouldn't do 1,000 lines. Stick to about 4 or 5 lines, and you can create them however you want. You do not have to copy mine if you don't want to. All right, next I'm going to choose 2 different kinds of colors that go relatively well together, but they're also kind of one's a little bit lighter and one's a little bit darker. And what I'm doing is I'm turning my paper over, and I am creating lines going straight down on the inside of my kind of wavy line. And I am going to very carefully take my time without scrabbling because we're almost in first grade. And I am going to start coloring this kind of area in. So this one line I'm going to color with purple. And I'm actually going to create a pattern. So I'm going to do every other line colored in purple. And the ones that have no purple in it, I'm going to do pink. So again, it's creating that idea of doing a pattern. So purple, pink, purple, pink, purple. And you don't have to use these colors. You can use 2 colors that you prefer. But whatever you choose, please make sure you choose bright colors. Make sure that they are possibly one darker, one lighter. And please make sure that you are coloring in neatly. And I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this piece very quickly so you can take a look at it. Remember, you can always pause the video or go back to something if you're confused, okay? So next I'm going to go ahead and choose a different color, and again you can choose whatever colors you'd like. I'm taking red, and I'm going to create another pattern on this next section of line. So I'm actually just going to do a few different circles. Again, I'm not doing just random circles all over the place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one big circle, one little circle, one big circle, one little circle. And I'm just going to color them all in red, and I chose to leave the background white for this one. Later on I go in and I add some other details to make it more interesting, but for right now I am just doing a few red circles. And moving right along to my next pattern. Again, you can do whatever patterns you want. You do not need to copy mine. But I'm going to go ahead and do 3 big triangles. And as you can see, they are not perfect. They don't have to be perfect. This is just an interesting piece of abstract art. So it doesn't have to represent anything, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm actually going to go ahead and add a little tiny triangle inside of my big triangle, just to make it more interesting. And then I'm going to go ahead and color the background a different color. Now from here, I'm actually just going to go ahead and fast forward through the whole thing. So hopefully this doesn't hurt you or confuse you. All I'm doing is I'm just going to fast forward so that this kind of gives you an opportunity to stop and create the patterns that you would like to create, or just kind of get an idea for what I'm doing, and then you can always go back to this later and create your own piece. If you'd like to, you can create the one that I'm doing right now, you can copy it, and then you can go make another one that's more based off of what you would like to create. So please don't feel obligated to do exactly the same as Miss Fry. You can do your own style of art on this one. Again, just repeating your shapes, choosing colors that are bright, maybe one dark and bright. It's kind of up to you on how you want to create these kind of pieces of artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward so you can see everything that I'm doing. Please remember to color neatly, no scribble scrabbling on these, and take your time.